Yeah, we're starting to record, Mark. All is good.
Thank you. Okay, guys, just a reminder then we'll kick off now. This first section can go live from 10:30, and we'll do a split for the newspapers later, which I'll shout out. So if we can start, please, with Faye from Premier League.
Morning, Mikel.
Hello.
Just wondering what the mood's been like in the squad since Wednesday's draw with Southampton.
Well, we had the disappointment of not winning the game. But at the same time, I think the players realized that with the difficulty of playing 35 minutes with 10 men, a draw probably was a result that we had to take. And they could see some positives as well on the resilience and the attitude that they showed to hang on that result.
So Everton on Saturday, they're coming into this having beaten Chelsea and Leicester in the past week. So they're going to be full of confidence. How tough's this game going to be?
It's always very tough to go to Goodison. I played there. I know them really well. And the teams are in two different moments, but we are preparing the game to go there and beat them because we need a result.
What are your memories of your time at Everton?
Magnificent. I have 7 incredible years. They treated me incredibly well. We were very successful for the team and the resources that we had in the moment. And I still have a lot of love, admiration, and friends over there because I'm grateful. They treat me really, really well, and I really enjoyed being part of that family.
Just finally, your 1-year anniversary on Sunday as Arsenal manager. How do you reflect on this past year?
Well, I think it's been one of the most challenging years of the club's history for many, many different reasons. I think that we have made a lot of progress and we have implemented a lot of positive things that have worked really, really well. We have gone through structural changes all across the club that obviously has shaken the club big time. I would say the highlights of that year is the 2 trophies that we have won together. And the most disappointing thing is that we haven't had our fans with us to take us through this difficult moment. And I think it could have been a really, really positive year. But the recent form in the Premier League is taking the gloss of what we've done in a calendar year. But we have to accept that the Premier League form in recent weeks is not been good enough for this football club.
Thanks very much, Mikel. Good luck on Saturday.
Thank you.
Thanks, Faye. Gail from Sky.
Mikel, it was your first big kind of job in management. You know, how tough has it been on you? Is the job more difficult than you thought it would be?
Well, I know and I realize how difficult our job is in normal conditions. When you get to a club that has to go through what we've been through in a year, and on top of that, you have a pandemic that is affecting the whole industry and the way that you can even leave your profession and do what you are able to do normally. It's even more challenging, but it's what we have. At the same time, I'm telling you that I love what I do. I feel so lucky and privileged to represent this football club. And these are circumstances and contexts that in this moment are what they are. And we have to face them because there is no other choice.
You talked about playing 35 minutes again with 10 men. That's 3 red cards in the last 5 games, isn't it? What are you doing to work with your players? Because clearly you're not going to be able to win games, are you, with 10 men?
Well, I said the other day, I think we have 7 red cards now since I joined, 2 disciplinary and the rest they've been for different actions. The last one with Gavi is at 22 years old, that is settling in the Premier League, don't forget that. And there were 2 very different actions, but obviously that's in this moment we cannot afford because the Premier League level is too high and the margins for us at the moment are too small to win or lose football matches.
And just finally from me, concussion subs. You saw sort of close up, didn't you, a few weeks ago, WE's, you know, how important it could be. Is it a great move for football given we're still unclear, aren't we, about long-term effects of head injuries, and how important is it to take players out of that adrenaline-fueled arena just for a few minutes to get a really good assessment?
I think it's great progress considering that the Premier League is open up that window to explore what we can do. If there is something we can do better, and at least we can test it. There are a lot of question marks on how and when we can do it, but I think it's a really positive thing because there is something happening there, and the fact that now we are all aware of it and we are acting, I think it's a really positive thing to take.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks, Gail. We come next to George from the BBC.
Thanks, Mark. Hello, Mikel. I just wondered if Wednesday you hope is that massive turning point you was after, in the sense that you went down to 10 men and your players got it back. Is that what it feels like this week in training?
Well, it felt better. Again, we could have won it at the end when Rob hit the post last minute, and we are lacking that luck. But I really like, because a team when it's in this moment kind of completely dropped and give up, and the team never did that. I think it was completely the opposite. And I'm proud to see that reaction from the team. But right now what we need is to win football matches as well, and that's our reality.
You've got quite a tough run of games coming up now, haven't you? Everton, City and Chelsea. I mean, I guess you've got to prioritise the league. So what does that mean for the Cup on Tuesday?
Let's see that the players we have available. We are losing players every game as well. Let's see who is available for tomorrow. And then the next day is not much that we can plan with the squad that we have at the moment. So let's go game by game.
Can you look ahead to fixtures? Do you have players in mind that you could possibly bring in a week's time, or do you just literally look at the next game?
At the moment, we have to look at the next game. There are players that are ending up the last phase of the rehab, like Callum Chambers. Pablo Mari is already played some minutes in the Europa League. Mustafi as well. Gavi Martinez is very close to be available and fit to be part of us as well, which is great news. And we will see what happens.
Thank you.
Thanks.
James from TalkSport.
Morning, Mikel.
Hi.
Mikel, you joined Everton at the age of 22. I just wonder what it's going to be like tomorrow when you step out there in the dugout, in the opposition dugout tomorrow.
It's going to feel really strange. It was my first experience in the Premier League as a player. A lot has happened since then, and as I said before, so grateful for the years that I had over there, and now a privilege to be going back to Goodison, representing Arsenal and being the manager.
And as I mentioned, you joined the club when you were 22 years old. You spent 6 years there. Just how important was that period, not only for your football development as a footballer, but as a manager and as a thinker about the game?
Well, it's a lot of things that I took on board. It was David Moyes for the whole period, and all the coaching staff it was there that implemented a way of playing that it was new to me, because I was coming from a different education. I had to adapt. I learned a lot of things. It was a challenge. I have to embrace it and adapt to it, and I really enjoyed it, and as well with everybody at the club, because I built that really strong relationships, and of course as well with the fans.
You're obviously without a centre-back tomorrow, but you do have plenty at your disposal. Could you give us an idea on which centre-backs you're looking at, who you're thinking could feature tomorrow against Everton?
Well, let's see who do we have available tomorrow. Obviously, we've lost Gavi now with the red cards, and we will assess them today and decide who is the best pair to go and try to beat Everton.
And just final question from me, Mikel. You've said it's been the most challenging year probably in the club's history for Arsenal. There's been a big shake-up, as you mentioned, behind the scenes. Do you feel like you will be given the time to get things right, despite the fact results aren't where they should be at the moment?
Well, I said it from the start that I felt really supported by the owners, by the boards, by the technical director, and then by everybody that is at the club, because at the end of the day, it's the feeling that I feel with the staff, with the coaching, with the players, which are the most important one. What chemistry do you have with them? What understanding do you have? Do they follow you? Do they believe in what you are trying to do? And I always have to say thank you, because I haven't seen anything that goes against what we are trying to do. But it's like anything, this industry, you need results. But after a big shakeup, we need to find the stability. In order to do that, we need time. We all knew, at least the people that made the decision with me to start this new project, that this wasn't a quick fix and it was going to take time. And when you are shaking things up, things can take a while.
Thanks, Mikel. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thanks, James. Mark from Press Association.
Hi, it's Jim today. Mark,
Hi, Jim.
Hi, Mikel. Is there any other team news updates? I know you've got quite a lot of guys suspended, but any other fitness issues in the game?
We have a few doubts. Obviously, I cannot tell you who, but we have some few doubts for tomorrow, yes.
With the announcement of the concussion rules, and also that the Premier League have turned down the opportunity for 5 substitutes again, but on the flip side you have the expanded bench. Can you see both sides of the argument, why some teams would want 5 subs and some other teams wouldn't?
At the moment, no, because I think the most important thing is the welfare of the players, and the best way to protect them and have options to protect them is to have the option to extend the substitutes. So it's like, we give you a little bit of this so you can have an extra 2 on there, but not the options to change. We are the only ones doing that. For me, it doesn't make a lot of sense, but obviously it's not up to us. We are pushing, we are giving our opinions. We have a lot of stats to support what is happening in the Premier League in terms of injuries, but still there is no reaction.
Do you think that will make much of a difference, having an extra player on the bench? But I suppose it depends how many players you've got available, and if your squad is stretched, that's maybe not going to be as advantageous as being able to bring some extra players on.
Well, I think it's a positive thing to have an extra 2 players on the bench, because you want everybody to be involved. Again, we are in a very special circumstances when the players are coming training, home training or match, and nothing else. So if they can participate, they can be part of the squad, they can travel with us, they can feel part of what we're doing, is much better than having people at home just feeling that we don't count on them, we don't trust them. So that's, in my opinion, a really positive thing to add.
Just on Everton, was there ever any thoughts or perhaps an opportunity to look at coaching at Everton before you made the decision to move with Manchester City and then Arsenal?
It was part of some conversations, but I decided to take my route in that moment.
Was there? Do you kind of have to take? Now you've moved into management. Do you find yourself taking little bits from each of the coaches you worked with? You mentioned with David Moyes, and then obviously with Arsenal and Pep. Are you a combination of all of them, the best and the worst?
I think you have to be yourself, but obviously you have moments and experiences that marks you in your football career. And it's not just about the way you think about the game, but who you are as a person, how you react to certain things. And I was really lucky with the managers that I had. I learned a lot, and I think that built the person as well, and the player that I was, and of course the thinking behind the manager that I'm today.
Thanks very much. Good luck in the game. Thank you.
Thanks, Jim. Nick from Haters.
Hi there. Morning, Mikel. Thanks for doing yet another press conference with us. It seems we speak to you nearly every day at the moment. So, but we've still got things to talk about. I'm just wondering about the balance of your team. When people analyse Arsenal, they say you're much stronger on the left than the right in terms of attacking and defending. Were you happier against Southampton with Ainsley at right back and Pepe on that right hand side, or do you think that's something you can work on, or you'd still need to find the right balance?
Well, there is a lot of things to discuss there. When you went to the defensive phase and the way or the areas we have conceded the goal and how we can concede them, just to say, okay, we are weaker on one side or the other, I don't think it's fair. Attacking wise, for some connections, some relationships that we have in the pitch, we tend to be a little bit more efficient in some areas, but the reality is that we have to change personnel a lot for different reasons, suspensions, injuries that we have. So to find that cohesion and balance with 2 sides is very difficult. And I think if you compare any team in the Premier League, you will find some and balances of areas where they are more dangerous, or runs in behind that they put here, or goals that come more from one side or the other. It's something common.
Did Ainsley do enough to keep his place, or does Hector Bellerin come straight back in after his suspension?
Ainsley, I think he had a good game. I think he's evolving really good. I think he's made in this year a big progress, and I think he's in a much better place than what he was a year ago, and he needs to keep doing what he's doing.
So you wouldn't tell me if he was going to play anyway, would you? Okay, just a quick word on Gabby Martinelli. He's playing again for the under-23s tonight. What can he add to the squad once he's available to you again?
Gabby is pure of enthusiasm, energy, belief, charisma, and goals. And this is him. He's around the training ground, he's around a training session, and the energy is different because he goes 100 miles an hour. He's got this passion, his way of playing, and he's a threat. He's a player that we've been missing because he brings something special to the team. He's contagious with his attitude, and I think it's going to be a big boost when we have him.
Good stuff. Okay, thanks. Best of luck for the weekend.